Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I have a humongous book haul, and this book haul is split into kind of two parts. The first part are books that I have purchased myself, and the other half of the book haul are books that I have gotten for 100% free, and I will tell you how to get books like this for free without really doing anything at all. So just stay tuned for that. I'm going to start with the books that I have purchased for myself, and you can expect some book reviews on this channel for some of the books soon. I'm not sure if I'm going to review all of them, especially this first one that I have, which is possibly the one that I am the most excited for. This is The Empty Grave by Jonathan Stroud. This is a Lockwood & Company book number 5. I have the first two, but I have read all of them. I am so excited for this book. The Lockwood & Co. premise is that there are 3 12-year-old paranormal investigators, and they hunt ghosts, and it's shelved in like the junior section at my library. So the age range that they think that this book is for is like junior high, but I would definitely say it's more high school because it is scary. It's scary. It scared me, and I am nowhere near that middle school age anymore. It is so scary, but because like it's the writing that makes it scary, because the writing is so beautiful. It's so good. I love this series. I'm super excited for this book. It is the last one, so I'm also very, very sad, but I got this because I just needed it in my life. The next book that I got is this. This is Amid Stars and Darkness by Chani Lynn Feener. I'm so sorry if I got your name wrong. I'm probably going to say a lot of the names wrong because I'm terrible at pronouncing anything. This was a book that was highly anticipated, I should say, before its release. It is a book about a girl mistaken identity in aliens. It was really good. I really like this book. I did film a review on it. It should be going up eventually. But this was a really, really good book. This was a book that I pre-ordered, and I haven't pre-ordered a book in forever. I didn't even pre-order this book, but I pre-ordered this one. I don't know, my priorities are weird. And I absolutely loved it. So that was another book in the haul. The next book that I got is Winter Song by S.J. Jones. I am so excited for this book. I have a thing for goblin romances. It could stem from Labyrinth. It could stem from one of my all-time favorite books, which is The Hollow Kingdom by Claire Dunkel. But this is a romance goblin book, and I have not read it. I am super excited to. I'm probably gonna review it because I know I'm gonna love it or hate it, and I'm desperately hoping I'm gonna love it. Everyone who reads this, according to Goodreads, it's good. It's great. It sounds beautiful. I can't wait to get started. Okay, the next book that I got is And I Darken. I completely forgot I bought this. This is it's like a vampire-ish game. It's like a vampire-ish novel. It's, I think it stems from the Dracula, Vlad the Impaler. I think it stems from the Vlad the Impaler myth / history. It sounded so good, so original. Basically it's about a girl who is essentially just raised to be ruthless, and she sounds like a complete badass. And that was why I was super interested in it. On the back they compare it to Game of Thrones in terms of darkness and like the twisted fantasy aspect, so I'm really excited to give this a read. I also forgot I got this book. This is Zodiac by Ramona Russell. I hate it when you order books off of Amazon and they come damaged. Anyway, this is a book about the zodiac. Essentially, there are 12 zodiac houses, and you like live with your house, and then there's like a 13th house that says beware the 13th sign. That's like the tagline. It's apparently a New York Times bestseller. I was super interested in this. I don't live by astrology, but I do find astrology interesting. I'm a Pisces, and everything that I read about Pisces, I feel like I can identify with, but like the thing about astrology is that it's written vague enough to everyone should be able to identify with like anything, you know, like when I read stuff for other signs, I'm like, well, yeah, I kind of identify with that because it's written so vague that it's supposed to, I don't know. Some of it is a hoax, some of it, I don't know, the science is weird, but I was really interested in it. I'm just gonna stop talking about it. That was it. Next book that I got is Story World First, and this is not a fiction novel, this is a nonfiction world building guide. So I am a writer and I love reading books that kind of help you write. So like this is to help world build, and it sounded really interesting, really good. It's gonna help me create worlds in my fantasy novels because that is what I like to write, that kind of resonate with the readers. For example, Oz, Wonderland, Narnia, The 100-Acre Wood, Neverland, Hogwarts, Westeros, Middle-earth, all of those, they like taking the memorable bits of those and using them as examples to learn how to write your own memorable world. It is a guide for writing, which I love reading them, so I was very excited to get my hands on that. And the last two books that I purchased are mystery books. I have not opened these yet, obviously. They are books that I got from my local bookstore, not like Barnes & Noble, but my local bookstore, and they market them as blind date with a book, essentially. And the great thing about my local bookstore is that all of the proceeds purchased from these books go back to the school district. So check out your local bookstore, see if they do anything like that. But I'm gonna open up this one. So this one says it's a fiction/thriller. In the small town of Fairview, Connecticut, everything seems picture perfect until a brutal attack rocks the community to the very core. I don't typically read thrillers, but I was just so interested. So this book is called All Is Not Forgotten by Wendy Walker, and it will come out July 2016, so it's already out. It's been out for a while, I guess. It sounds really interesting. I do really want to get into thriller novels. Thriller novels are hit or miss for me because I do kind of get scared easily, but it sounds really interesting. These are also advanced reader copies. That's why they can sell them for so cheap. They were $2. I don't know if I mentioned that. So this might not be what the final book looks like. It might not have this here on the side, but I am excited to read it regardless. The other book that I got is a young adult. This gripping story tells of a town robbed of its memories and its humanity, but one boy remembers it all. And basically any of the young adult ones I'm super interested in reading because young adult is my preferred genre. So this is Black River Falls by Jeff Hirsch, and I swear I have heard that name before. So in a town without a memory, there's one who can't forget is the tagline. This is what it looks like. This book is also out right now. The publication date for this was slated for July 5th, 2016. It looks interesting. I like the cover of it. I don't typically read like outdoorsy books because it's not really my thing, but I am excited to read it and try it, at least. And $2 that go towards the schools, not a bad deal. So the rest of the books that I'm going to show you are books that I got 100% for free from Goodreads.com. And if you've never heard of Goodreads before, it is a website where you can review books, get recommendations, join an online community. It's my go-to place before reading a book to see if I would actually like it. And one thing that Goodreads does are giveaways, and the giveaways that they do are all depend on the publisher or the author or whoever lists it. This is The Day the Angels Fell by Sean Smucker. This is an advanced reader copy, and it is not signed. Some of the books are signed, some of the books aren't signed. Like, they have all kinds of books, from ones that you've never heard before to A Court of Thorns and Roses. They have, what else? They have Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. They have not only super popular authors, but also undiscovered authors, and they're giving away all kinds of books. And you can filter the books by the genres that interest you. I typically enter the fantasy and young adult giveaways, but they have everything. They have thriller, they have gay and LGBTQ, they have children's, they have mystery, they have thriller, they have comics, they have manga, they have every genre essentially. They kind of separate it, but this book is about a young man who has to find the Tree of Life. Sounded really interesting, and I can't wait to start reading it. The next book that I got is Heroine Complex by Sarah Kuhn, and this is a book about a superhero assistant who becomes a superhero herself. I don't know, it just sounded really interesting. It sounded really fun. This one is also not signed, but I am pretty sure this is the final copy. So this is what the book looks like during publication and is already out, I am assuming. It sounded really, really interesting. The cover has this great art on it. I love it. So I will be reading that soon. The next book that I won is The Horror Writer, and this looks interesting. This one is about an author who writes horror novels, and the characters in those horror novels come to life and try to hunt him down, essentially. This one is actually signed by the author, which is really cool. It makes it collectible. It sounded really funny, really interesting. It's a hefty novel. It's pretty big, but I am excited. This is by Jerry J. Carroll, who is apparently a New York Times bestselling author, so you can get really cool books like that. The next book is Four Kings by M.D. Elster. This looked super interesting. I mean, look at it looks super interesting. Looks kind of creepy. It's a noir murder mystery, an asylum, and a dark fairy tale. Awesome. It's a pretty hefty book, but it sounds interesting. Really cool. It is not signed, but I do believe that this is the final edition. It's not an advanced reader's copy, so that's pretty neat. The next book that I won is Alia Taro, The Many Lives of Darren Datita by Lowell Mengisha and Scott Spotson. looks like that. So it's basically about a cloned Earth that Darren DeTita has to deal with the rules. Everybody on this alternate Earth has to rotate every 4 months, so they have to leave behind their job, their roommates, their lovers, and take on a new life, which is really interesting. Like, that premise is super fascinating. This is also signed by the author. It's got a nice little map in there. And you can tell that this one is self-published, which is totally fine. It's really cool, and I super appreciate it when self-publishers send me their items because it costs money for them to create their book. So that is super awesome. This I have just started seeing in Barnes & Noble and other stores. This is Girls Made of Snow and Glass, and I am so excited to read this book. This is an advanced reader's copy. It comes out September 2017, so it's out now. A brand new book. It is not signed, but it's got a really pretty map in here. That's awesome. So this is The Bloody Chamber meets Frozen in this fantasy feminist fairy tale. I don't know how to feel about that. Interesting. But this is basically about two girls. One, her heart is made of glass, and the other girl is made of snow. And it seems really interesting because, like, the two girls are, like, both in line to be queen, I think, and they have to essentially fight. And I don't know, I read that the Goodreads description sounded a lot more interesting than the back, but I'm super excited to read this because it sounds really good. And the last 3 books I actually won all at once. There are quite a few giveaways that the authors are giving away all of the books in the series, and I cannot be more grateful for winning this from Rex Jameson because he is a superstar. He wrote a personalized note in each of the books, and that, seriously, it blew my mind how amazing that was. So the first one is called Lucifer's Odyssey, the Primal Patterns series, book 1. I have book 1, 2, and 3, and it sounds so fascinating, and I really need to get on it. Especially because he wrote all of those sweet notes in there. It's just, it's so sweet. I am super excited to read them all. So, those are all of the books that I have in this haul. I know it's been stupidly ridiculous long, but now you know how you can win a whole bunch of books if you are a bookworm like me. Let me know which books you want to see a review for down below in the comments, or if there's a book that I don't have and you want to see a review for anyway, I can certainly get it from the library and read it and review it. Please follow my best friend Tiffany, who also reads these books with me. I will link her down below. We both do videos on the books that we review. If we read them together, some books I read alone, some books we read together, and those are marked by the hashtag DTReadAlong. We just finished reading A Flame in the Mist, which I don't own, but I need to because it was so good. You will see that review very, very soon. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!